So my name is Carol, and you know, I like to start with just reflecting what the world has gone through in the last 3 years. Of course, in 2020, around this time in Kenya is when we started hearing new terminologies like lockdowns. I'm sure many of you went through the same. And then most recently, well, it's not recent anymore. We have a lot of geopolitical challenges that are bringing issues around energy affordability, especially in Europe. And of course, we are all facing the challenges of climate. Over the years, this conversation has been going, but now there's an urgency on the race to net zero. And this is really where Schneider brings together, over the last 20 years, conversations around digitization, electrification, as well as bringing sustainability into your business. And as well, we've seen evolution of technology. But I think COVID really, I would say, put that even to a faster pace. You've seen these numbers before, but it's good to just put context again. I think we spent the last couple of years connecting people, and there's now more connection of people and devices and devices and devices themselves, which is creating a huge growth in terms of, you know, connectivities that we're expecting, as well as the IP traffic. I'm not an expert in data centers, so I'm sure you know these numbers better than I do. And therefore, you know, when we talk about electrification and looking back, you know, over the last 20 years, we've seen like electrification increasing every year by about 5 terawatt hours and 5,000 terawatt hours. But going forward, when we look ahead, we see the demand for electricity doubling because we believe that the world being more electric, and this is driven by many things, including the race to net zero. It is anticipated that, you know, by 2040, this number will double again. And every year, it requires then an adaptation towards this electrification. And so we see these inflections coming together, basically efficiency being driven by digital, and then, of course, electricity to drive carbonization, and bringing this really to sustainability and helping us to be smart and green. So just to introduce the purpose of Schneider Electric, and I think the earlier speaker spoke about purpose. We are driven to empower all to make the most of energy and resources, bridging progress and sustainability for all. And at Schneider, we call this Life is On. And we are on a mission to be a digital partner for sustainability and efficiency for all our customers. And we believe that the moment is now to leverage the technologies available to help you reach your net zero targets. The reason why we believe this is because a lot of energy, or rather carbon emissions today, 70% is really related to energy. And out of this, 70% of that, actually 80% of the carbon emissions today are coming from energy, both if you look at it from power generation, but also mobility and all that, but you can link all that to energy. But we also believe that out of this, you can save the 70% using existing technologies. You can save by digitizing, because when you digitize, you get to know how much you're losing and where you need to save. You can also electrify more, and I think here we are talking about, you know, electrifying different aspects of our resources that we use, and of course, decarbonizing the supply of electricity, which could be very relevant, especially for, you know, data centers that are huge consumers of power. So all this put together can actually help us to reach net zero faster. And we are driving conversations around, you know, industries transitioning to be more digital and more electric by providing solutions to help them save energy and also to reduce carbon. And we do this differently for different sectors that we serve. For industries, we drive, energy efficiency savings similar to data centers, as well as for buildings. And for industries, we are driving more and more, electrification potential for different aspects of their processes. And for data centers, we are saying you can actually reduce your carbon fully by working through and working with us through our technologies. And we have, come together and brought a lot of integrations in terms of solutions, both digital as well as hardware. So if you look at the different segments of market that we serve at Schneider, when we combine the different elements, we get, I will not bore you with this slide, but I just wanted to make the point that we see end-to-end in industries that we serve, from the hardware to the software, and we help our customers to really see that and achieve the visibility, and therefore be able to make decisions and see if, transparently across from we call it from the copper to the cloud. I think this audience is probably very familiar with this slide. I am not, so I'm going to skip it. And I will talk about the next slide. Or maybe I should give you some time to study it, and you tell me. There's a conversation around, and this is ongoing, controls and IoT, data hubs and digital twins and metaverse. This for me is not my area of expertise, and I'm sure all of you understand this because you're in this conference. I'm a generalist, I'm not a specialist. So I'll talk a bit about our solutions in data centers. I think this is probably the slide that I will focus on, and the next slide. And Schneider Electric is one of those vendors that look at the data centers end to end. So right from design and build to operate and maintain, we have not only software solutions, but also we have hardware. And we really look at it from side by side, and those of you that work with Schneider already understand and see these solutions. And we like to help our customers to build profitable businesses by scaling their data center infrastructure investments. And we like to accelerate this, in terms of your time to market, as well as how we can support your business growth. So if you look at Schneider, Schneider is probably the only company that will give you a comprehensive data center infrastructure solution. So we give you a full portfolio, right from the electrical distribution, from a hardware perspective, to cooling, to racks, to UPSs and all that. And of course, different architectures that you require to meet the best needs for your customers. We do offer as well prefabricated solutions directly and through our partners. And this will reduce your time to build. You can deploy them much faster depending on your customer requirements. And of course, with our energy and sustainability services, ensuring that your data centers are efficient and are meeting the requirements of climate and carbon, which we are all fighting. And really just working through this to address most of the challenges that customers are facing in terms of starting your business with limited funds, which is always the case for most of these projects, as well as expanding into growing markets where you would want to be deploying faster. There's always a race for getting the big clients. And we are able to do this for you from the smallest data center, to the hyperscale. So we have solutions for everyone, cutting across. And in this market, especially in East Africa, we are working with some of the large players as well as your everyday users. And we are proud to be associated with those customers. So if I look at just to give you some examples, we have a number of use cases. This particular case is a customer that is in Alabama, Retirement Systems of Alabama. I believe this is in the US. And this particular customer was looking for 100% uptime We are able to offer that through our EcoStructure innovation at every level for data centers. So we are managing for them basically by offering connected products, monitoring that at premise, and also offering the cloud analytics. And really just helping this customer to minimize the amount of downtime by bringing in resiliency. So we are, troubleshooting ahead of problems and reducing the downtime to minutes instead of hours. So I'm going to end my presentation on this slide by asking a question. If you will allow us to be your digital partner for sustainability and efficiency. There's a lot of information behind my presentations that, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not an expert, so I skipped a lot. But I have a very able technical team in our booth. I welcome you to visit us, and we can have deeper discussions. Thank you very much, and I saved you 4 minutes.